Let's continue in the path of the things that are most commonly asked. So, one of the questions I got recently is a common question that I kind of forgot about answering, to be honest. It's whether a Scrum Master should be a full time dedicated position or whether a rotating Scrum Master accountability was acceptable. This is a difficult one to swallow, and I think you'll see where I'm going in a little bit here. It's one of those things where I understand how some organizations feel they have a need to have a rotating Scrum Master, one, to get everyone familiar with being able to handle objections or handle interference or interruptions or any kind of impediments, and getting everyone on the team involved and getting that understanding and gaining that leadership skill. But at the same time, how much of their dedicated focus does it take away from the things at hand that they need to work on? So it's one of those things where you've got to have some type of balance. Now, also in startups, I've discovered where sometimes leaders end up fulfilling the role of Scrum Master because there's just not enough people on the ground for someone to take on that role. And obviously, they're not doing it full time. So I'll start with this. I spent the first many years of my career as a Scrum Master dedicated to one or two teams. As a result, I got to know every team member deeply. And even after 10 plus years, after I was long gone from this project, I can still be in close contact with some of those people because they built relationships with me. Due to frequent changes in the team, some people come and go. Improving team dynamics was a continuous effort. However, after a while, the team understood Scrum, and I could start shifting my focus towards broader organizational excellence in Agile and focusing on our customers and improving communication with stakeholders. The following 4 years were probably mostly spent as what I would consider a freelance Scrum Master or hired via some type of consultancy or coaching contract. Consequently, I work with dozens of different teams and organizations all over the world. Initially, I found it quite stressful, but after a while, I learned how quickly read the situation, become part of the team, and from the start, prepare the team to succeed with Scrum without me, how important those types of things were. So both types of experiences, the dedicated one or the rotating one, were tremendously valuable. I wouldn't have wanted to miss either of them. What I treasure the most from working with many different teams is how I learned to quickly assess what's going on, spot patterns, and offer experiments that I've seen work successfully in other contexts. So I see many Scrum Masters who work permanently for one organization and have been with the same team for a very long time. In certain domains, teams are stable, so they work with the same team members for years. Combining the role with another specific skill set needed for the team limits this flexibility. Given these insights, I was forced to wonder, could organizations benefit from a more flexible approach to Scrum Masters? An interesting experiment could be to work without dedicated Scrum Masters and instead create a flexible pool of Scrum Masters that people could pull from. But to make this work, potential agreements would be Scrum Masters only work for 1 year with the same team to keep fresh ideas flowing. New teams always have a Scrum Master. If the team is relatively stable, they decide after a year whether to continue with a Scrum Master or self manage with occasional guidance. Scrum Masters rotate across different types of teams and domains in large organizations. There are plenty of opportunities for this. And if Scrum Masters aren't assigned full time to one team, they coach the broader organization and stakeholders. This allows them to fulfill the role as needed. Now, what I can tell you is this is good from the sense of innovation and keeping things moving and keeping things interesting, but it's also bad news for the people on the team who may be introvert and build a relationship with a single person and aren't interested in building a relationship with an entire pool of people, right? So for some Scrum Masters, this will be completely outside of their comfort zone. But for other Scrum Masters, this would be a rock star opportunity. Isn't that where the real learning happens, though, when you're in a little bit of discomfort? There are always reasons why it wouldn't work, and those are valid concerns, but opportunities to rethink about how we engage agility is a positive thing. What I'm trying to say is if you find that a team isn't in high performing and they're starting to get complacent, or that a Scrum Master is not advancing in their career and learning new things, sometimes switching things up might be a good idea. But I'm more curious than ever about what your experience is with this. What have you seen? What I can tell you is in most organizations, I just span a Scrum Master across multiple teams. So when they're starting out, it's one Scrum Master, one team. As they gain experience, it's one Scrum Master, two teams. And then when they become an expert, it's one Scrum Master with three teams. I never surpass three, even though it's possible to, I just don't. I'll use all their extra bandwidth to build that internal Agile center of excellence like they were talking about, like we were talking about earlier. So I think it's important for you to understand where you are on a spectrum, what type of organization you're operating, whether it's startup or something well established, how many people you have available, and how you align the Scrum Masters with the organization. Remember, Scrum Masters should be governing teams, not aligned with a specific product or service. You want to make sure product owners have multiple Scrum Masters they can go to help resolve impediments, and that team members only have to worry about building relationships with a single Scrum Master. That's going to do it for this episode. I hope it helped you. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at AgileDad.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. Bye now.